Yeah, hi YouTube. We're going to do a quick video today on some issues with the Glock slide stops. And any of you that have disassembled or taken apart a Glock have experienced the importance of getting the slide stop spring underneath the crossmember pin to prevent the slide locking back or having any issues. When you're firing the gun, if it's not put in correctly, essentially what happens is the slide will lock to the rear with a full magazine. And so we're just going to go over a quick couple pointers and some tips on to make sure that when the gun is reassembled, that the slide stop spring is underneath the pin that crosses over on the slide behind the main pin. And I'll turn the camera around and show you guys more specifics. Okay, so what I've got here is the schematic diagram for the Glock 19. And I'm going to point out a couple parts here that we're going to be talking about and how it's can be problematic. And then I'll actually show you on a Glock 19 build that I did and where the problem arises. And it causes essentially intermittent slide lock with a full magazine. And I'll show you a quick and easy way to check to make sure that you've got it in correctly, that you've got part 26. So that's the key part that we're talking about, part 26, which is called the slide stop lever, the slide stop lever. So this is what's manipulated to release the slide when the gun is in the slide lock position to send the slide forward. And this is the spring that sits on the slide lock lever, and it's crimped in right here in the back, and then it pops up right here. And when properly installed so that the gun will function correctly, this spring needs to be below this pin. Pin 28, or part number 28, is the trigger housing pin. So that's really key. And I'll show you here. I'm going to get my gun out. We'll do a safety check, and I'll show you one quick, easy way to check to make sure you've got it installed correctly. Okay, so here's a Glock 19 custom build that I did from a polymer 80 frame. I'm going to do a safety check on the gun. There's no magazine in the firearm, and the chamber is empty, as you can see here. We're going to go ahead and do a disassembly real quick so I can show you the part that I'm talking about. So we talked earlier about the spring being underneath the pin, and the pin, which is the part number that I showed you in the diagram, which is the trigger housing pin that crosses over. So the trigger housing pin is this top pin right here, okay? And then this is the slide stop, which is part 28, the slide stop lever, which is part 28 that we showed on the diagram. So I might just slide the diagram underneath here so you can see it. So that's the part there, the slide stop lever. And then right here, I'm going to turn the weapon so you can see. So I already showed you the trigger housing pin, which is this top pin right here. So I'm going to turn it. I'll just put my finger there as a reference. And then if you look here, the pin, you can see that the spring has to go underneath. If I run this pointer across the top there, you don't feel that the spring is sitting on the top there. And that's really essential. And if you notice here, there's a little groove on that pin, and I'm going to try to get it under the camera here so you can really see it. There's a thin little groove right there. And so that spring has to sit in that groove, and it has to be underneath that pin. And a quick way to check to make sure when you disassemble it, if you have the gun, if you have put it back together correctly, is to push up on the slide stop, and it should spring back. So when you push up on this slide stop lever, it should spring back into place. And that's a quick and easy way to know that you've reassembled the gun correctly with the slide stop spring, slide stop lever spring below the trigger housing pin. Okay, so hope that was helpful today. If you found this useful, please appreciate a thumbs up. Thanks so much. Have a great day.